Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. All right. What's up? I'm 13. This is my shop, Superior Mobile by 13. I am a local, independently owned, grassroots, alphabet-friendly, custom car shop specializing in headlights, lighting systems, and otherwise general electronics and fabrication. I am running this all by myself for 15 years now. I still have no idea what I'm doing, and I do it every day. So I'm a little overdue on a shop tour, so it's been about 8 months since the last one. I haven't really wanted to do one, to be honest with you. But here we are this morning. I meant to do it last night, and I obviously did not, so I'm going to do it this morning. We're going to wander around. I'm going to show you the projects. It's kind of exciting, to be honest. I mean, I've got a really good workflow going on right now. Excuse me, I'm having breakfast right now, too. Homemade biscuits from Danielle. These are really killer. Also, side note on the coffee, I started using dates as my sweetener. I just chop up a date and then mash it inside like the really hot coffee, and then it dissolves in there. And so like you don't get the insulin spike because there's fiber with the dates, because it's not like an actual refined sugar or anything. Just, pro tip for you. I'm living a good life. I'd say probably the hardest part is to remind myself that I'm living a good life. I'm going to reference the Kanye West lyric from my Dark Twisted Fantasy album, which is, I'm so gifted at finding what I don't like the most. That quality is usually pretty good with regards to my job, because I have the ability to pinpoint aspects of a build that can be improved, and so that allows me to constantly be growing and pursuing perfection, or at a bare minimum improvement for my products and creations. And I'd like to think that's what people like. They pay for good quality work, and I am striving to provide good quality work. However, when it comes to a life strategy, because there's a big difference between separating my life and my work, being a sole proprietor, it's kind of a very thin gray line. It is definitely a little self-damning, because I'm always trying to figure out well, why am I not like this, And of course, the access to the internet and the constant influx of flood of information, and it's just a little overwhelming sometimes, especially for my little simple brain. But overall, I'm doing really well. Work is crushing it. I don't think I've worried about money all year long. Again, I've never really been motivated by money. I just kind of make sure that I handle the workflow that comes through. And there's been enough really good jobs steadily coming in with good clients that have been patient and understanding of my lifestyle and of my craft, that have allowed me to just kind of do really well this year. And that's been a blessing. I'm very, very grateful for it. I don't want to play a fool like this just happened overnight, man. Again, this is 15 years in business, so it's nice that it's actually kind of cruising. With the exception of that one hiccup, a year or two ago, where I went 3 months without income, it has been steady, successful business the entire time, and that is with $0 spent on advertising. So I guess people like what I do, which is great, because I like what I do. So I guess the big question at that point is if I'm making all this money, what am I doing with it? So within the last 8 months, I would assume that, so there was the issue with the preserve. For those that don't know, I own 2.5 acres out in Hernando. That is purely to resist development of that area. Florida is being overrun, and you can only fight capitalism with capitalism. So I bought 2.5 acres of land, and I have no intention of ever developing it. It's just to keep it as a little nature preserve out in that area that is rapidly being covered in housing. The neighboring lot encroached upon my property. They put their septic drain field on my land and shit, so it was a whole issue or whatever, but that's fine. So what happened is basically I spent a bunch of money and I got a fence put in, a really nice steel post barbed wire fence, so it's pretty sweet. But that was a chunk of money. And then if you fast forward a couple more months, we needed a fence for our home in St. Pete. Just in the backyard. I've already done all 3 of the other sides of the property, but there is still the shared fence line between us and the neighbors, and they insist it's ours, but it's clearly not. It says so on the land survey, but so either way, I'm putting up a fence there, and that one is really exciting. That is 100% my custom design. I've been on that for a few months now. It is all AutoCAD'd and 3D modeled up. It's pretty sexy. I'm using corrugated polycarbonate skylight panels. We ripped them through the table saw and then made all of the pickets. There's about 350 pickets or so that got handmade with me and Chris and Eli next door, the cabinet makers there. So mad shout out to them. They helped out real big. All the posts were custom made for me from a steel supplier a little bit up north, and I got 9 out of 15 of them in the ground right now. I can only do one a day, and I'm pretty much only working on the weekend, so it's going to be a really long-term, slow process, but it's really exciting, and maybe hopefully someday I'll get to do a video about that. I don't know. But like I said earlier, there's kind of a gray line between like what is a shop project and what is my life project, my personal projects, because I am just a builder, a fabricator, and a creator, and an artist, if I dare flatter myself. I'm supposed to add engineer to the list, but I'm not really sure if I even qualify as one anymore because I can barely remember my PivNerts. That's an engineering joke. PV equals NRT. Nobody's gonna get that one. Another thing I did with my money was I bought a custom steering wheel for Evie. I had to have that custom made and ordered from overseas or something like that. I don't really know. I just put down the deposit and now I just wait. That's actually really exciting for me because there's almost nothing on that car that I got to just buy. It's all been one of one handmade by me. So the idea that I can actually just pay somebody else and they will do the work for me is phenomenal. I love that idea. What else we got around here, huh? What else we got around here? I don't know. Let's take a walk around the shop and see what's up, okay? Traditionally, we always start in the office, so here, let's go here. There's nothing really going on. I am organizing and doing my birthday, so that's coming up in October. Can you believe it? I'm gonna be 40. Ew. It's actually pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I still need to leave the review for my fencing for the property. That's why that's there to remind me. I have a new printer. That's from Danielle, I guess. And then we have computers. Is that a new monitor? Maybe that's a new monitor. I don't know. Did I tell that story about how I went without internet for 3 weeks? That was amazing because WoW tried to raise the rates on me again. And I said no, so I canceled internet, went 3 weeks, and then switched over to Spectrum. There's nothing new about the bathroom. We don't need to go over that. Here's the showroom. Again, nothing really new about this. However, I will say this. We've got all of this product right here. This is for Tommy's Camaro. He'll be dropping his car off later tonight, and I get to do that install tomorrow. That's been about 2 months in the making or something like that, so that's gonna be an exciting build for him and for me. Moving on out through there. It's probably worth mentioning that it's been like wicked hot sometimes in the last few weeks. I've had several days here in the shop that have hit triple digits, but that's kind of just par for the course. Obviously, climate change is real. If you're a denier, don't even follow my channel because I don't like people who don't believe in science. So it's just the reality of life now, but here is my cooler sticker bomb project. I don't know if I've been showing that off before. I need to have this finished by October. So today I'll be sanding it down and doing another coat on that. Honestly, I haven't touched it in probably about 3 or 4 months, which is really bad. I mean, there is like a coat of grime on the top of it right now, but that will be done in time. I know because it has to be. Let's see, Evie's just chilling in here right now. She's looking good as always, a little dirty, but that's okay because she's a work truck. You know what's totally a thing that's missing from right here is my motorcycle. Baby girl is off at a shop right now. I'm having the whole brake system redone from rotors to calipers to lines to the master cylinder or whatever. So everything is being rebuilt. So that feels real good. That's another thing that I'm dumping my money into, is making sure that 93 Yamaha FCR continues to run and brake safely. I love that motorcycle and I really love supporting local businesses and local craftsmen, and so they are doing that work for me and that's super cool. This is actually just clutter that I'm getting out of the shop. Thankfully, Danielle came out on Sunday and we did a whole clean out of the shop because everything was covered in plastic shrapnel from doing all of the polycarbonate ripping on the table saw. Speaking of which, these panels, these are the polycarbonate dual wall panels. So they've got, as you can see, like cavities in there or whatever. These make for really good shelving. This is actually what was used on the pallet itself to transport the skylight panels to me. So of course, nothing goes to waste. And actually those 2x4s over there are also from the pallet. So I'll find a use for them somewhere in my life. These are a taillight project that I actually just started last night, although it's been in the queue for about a month. That dude didn't give me a deposit. He just dropped off the taillights and that's not good enough for me anymore. So these are for a 59 El Camino, I believe. These are gonna be real cool. It's gonna be addressable LEDs, a real simple build. Just gonna be using these strips right here. It is gonna be Blue Ghost powered, even though it's just gonna be behind red lenses, but that'll allow me to do sequential tails, which was his original request. So I just made some wooden templates of the interiors of these things, and that's how we're gonna get started on that. And I got that done last night. I think I finished that up around midnight or so. Oh, what is work-life balance? Who wants to talk about that? As you can see, I was just having breakfast here. These are the Veloster headlights for John that I just finished up. Today's objective is I will clean them up real good good, scuff them up real good, and then clear coat the entire things, and that's gonna give them a nice UV protection. So I'm gonna be clear coating these and that cooler at the same time today. So basically the entire day is set aside just for sanding and clear coat. So it's gonna be a messy, grimy, sticky day, and that's good, which is why we're banging out a video first thing in the morning. These, just hot off the Chinese press, are Cadillac ATS headlight shells. These are the outer shells. They are super large. They just arrived, so I just let that client know that those have arrived. So he is shipping out his headlights for me, I believe today or tomorrow, and then they're gonna arrive and I'm gonna have another really, really nice headlight rebuild for those. So as you can see, a nice steady flow of good project. It's been keeping me busy. Everybody's been real patient with letting me get things done at my own pace, but I am of course working as fast and quickly as possible because I want to get things done and move on to the next project. This area is actually just cleaned up, which is really nice. I don't know if there's anything really to say about that. I mean, I guess I could go to the project shelf, which there's nothing here because the projects are all out here, and over here. I'm sure later today when I get to painting, things will end up getting relocated over here, but it is what it is. This is John's Veloster's parts, and then we've got the cooler parts over here, that's steering wheel parts, and this is a pressure regulator for a tank assembly, which I am oddly going to be modifying just because I need more little random projects. Is that it? I think that's it. So that's the shop status update. Really, that's the me status update because that's all we're kind of talking about here is just me and what's going on in my world. I've also been doing a lot of kayaking lately. Big shout out to Tony and Christine who got a house on the Rainbow River last week. I spent 2 days out there. I'm telling you, I'm at a point in my career, I guess if you want to call it that, where I just kind of do whatever I want. And I think that's an amazing, amazing blessing. It's such a huge privilege, but it's also like really intimidating because it gets ahead of me, it gets away from me, and then all of a sudden I find myself being like, I don't want to work today. Like, okay, well, guess what, buddy? People really need your services. Well, let's rephrase that. Nobody needs the type of work that I do, but they really want it and they're willing to pay for it. So I guess I have to do it. So thank God I have that sort of obligation to community and to other people, because honestly, I don't know if I have that for myself. We're gonna call that a character flaw, okay? Kind of cruising along, trying not to get overwhelmed with all of the things going on in the world, but also staying appropriately busy, keeping preoccupied, working on things, staying productive, and also trying, and this one's the really tough one, to take the time to breathe and appreciate what's been accomplished and live in that moment and just kind of enjoy myself and feel good. So with all of that said, I gotta get to work today. And so thanks for watching this random blah, blah, blah that I have done. I can't imagine that it was any real value to you unless you're just curious about me, at which point thank you very much for your curiosity. I hope it has been fulfilled. All right, I gotta go sand today. Have a wonderful day. Thanks again for watching. This is 13 with Spear Mobile by 13. I will talk to you later. See ya.